Hey guys, I just wanted to make this little disclosure before the video starts. This video is going to be audio only. For whatever reason, this portion of last night's stream did not come out good in terms of quality. I don't know why. It's all blurry. It's like at 240p. I have two other videos that I stripped from the live stream that were perfectly fine. The image is great, but for some reason, this particular portion of the stream did not come out good at all. So I don't want to put that kind of quality up. So it's going to be audio only, and I'll throw some images up for you guys to have something to look at while I, make my discussion in terms of how I feel about Godzilla 2014 and Godzilla King of the Monsters. So I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys soon. All right, here we go. Godzilla 2014 versus Godzilla 2019. So I've given this a lot of thought. I've even watched Godzilla 2014 recently. I've seen Godzilla King of the Monsters twice in the theater. And I have to say, I think the edge goes to 2014 for me. And not by much. The reason I like 2014 just a little bit more is because there was a level of presentation in 2014 that I thought was a little bit lacking in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now, that's not necessarily meaning that Godzilla King of the Monsters did anything wrong. I think it didn't have the first time appeal. When I saw Godzilla 2014 in the theater, I can honestly say that I was completely emotional. My reactions to it were emotional. Seeing Godzilla for the first time made my hair stand up, gave me goosebumps, and I got watery eyes. The first time they panned up, and the first time I got to see him, when I got to first see his roar. And for all the criticism of Gareth Edwards' approach, it was an approach that I felt was more effective, because even though it pisses you off, and I know, and this is my opinion, and it didn't piss me off. I'm just saying, I know a lot of people were pissed off about what he did, but at the end of the day, even though it may have been cutting away during the middle of a fight, building, for me, that buildup was very, very effective. And I'm talking sheerly on presentation of Godzilla and these monsters in both movies. The stories for both movies, neither one of them stood out really. But I just remember the feeling I had when I first saw 2014. And the feeling I had when I saw King of the Monsters, it wasn't the same feeling, but it wasn't a bad feeling. It was a feeling of excitement. Like, my feeling when I went to go see Godzilla King of the Monsters was, man, I've been waiting for this. I can't wait to see Ghidorah. I can't wait to see Mothra. I can't wait to see Rodan and all these other Titans, blah, 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 blah. And it was an epic feeling watching all that. You know what I mean? It was epic to see these four iconic kaiju from Japan that I grew up watching on Channel 5 and Channel 11 during the late 70s and all throughout the 80s. It was very nostalgic. If anything, Godzilla King of the Monsters hit more than nostalgia buttons for me. But 2014, it hit me in the heart because it had been so long. And I was so happy with the way they represented him. I was so happy with the design. And even though the story wasn't that great, even though you did have to wait a long period of time to see Godzilla, that's something I was used to already, okay? Growing up watching these Showa films, a lot of the Showa films do that. Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, I mean, I hate the movie, but you don't see Godzilla for like almost an hour. It's like absurd, you know? Same thing with Godzilla vs. Smog Monster. You don't see Godzilla for a long time. Godzilla 54, at least he pops up early in the beginning, but he's only in the movie. He's actually in the movie less in 54 than he is in 2014. So I was used to that approach. That's why it didn't bother me like it bothered some people. I have been watching all those, all right, let's wait a long time to show Godzilla movies that were in the Showa series. I think even Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla vs. King Kong, or King Kong vs. Godzilla, it took a while before he broke out of the iceberg. A lot of those movies took that approach in the Showa era, where you didn't see Godzilla for a long time throughout in the beginning of the movie. But that doesn't mean I don't. Obviously, that doesn't mean I don't like King of the Monsters. I just like the way Gareth filmed it. I think he had a better sense of scale than Doherty did. Now, there were some areas where Doherty's scale was insanely good, especially with certain shots of Ghidorah. But as I mentioned in my review, there were some shots at the ending where I thought the monsters lost their scale, and that kind of took away from some of the believability, if you want, I do think, while I love Showa era movies, and I do love them, I do like that Gareth took a more serious approach. I do appreciate that Gareth made a movie that wasn't aimed at Godzilla fans. It was aimed at the general audience. Because as you guys all know, I've said it a gazillion times, if you want to ensure the survival of Godzilla, you need to appeal to the mainstream audience. And he did that. The movie did $93 million in its opening weekend. It generated enough interest for that many people to show up. I appreciate what Doherty did because, like I said, when I first came out the movie, if you guys saw my Instagram and my YouTube quick upload, I said that Doherty gambled. He made a movie for the fans, and the fans returned in kind. But as you can see, we just discussed it, the box office doesn't always reflect that fan service works. That doesn't mean I didn't like it because it took me back, and it was a great, great movie. But I got to give the edge to G14. It just has a special place in my heart. Because as a fan, since I was 3 years old, waiting 10 years for me was a lot tougher. If and I think it's fair to say this, waiting 10 years for me was a lot tougher than I think it was for a lot of you young guys, because I've been through that so many times. You know what I mean? I've been going through that since the 80s when I saw Godzilla Returns, and I didn't see another Godzilla movie until Godzilla vs. Biollante. And I didn't get to see Godzilla vs. Biollante when it came out. I got to see Godzilla vs. Biollante in the mid-90s. By 91, in Japan, I think Godzilla vs. Ghidorah was already out. So, from Godzilla Returns all the way up to 92, I mean, that's 7 years I had to wait. So, I had to wait 7 years for a Godzilla movie from 85 to 92. I had to wait from, 79? 78 was maybe the last one? From 78 to 85. So I had a 7-year gap, then a 7-year gap, and then a 10-year gap. So that's why I'm so used to this. If Kong versus Godzilla is the end, whether it's about the box office or whether they just decide to end it, whether it makes money or not, I'm preparing myself this time. I'm accepting that. If we get another movie after that, big bonus. I'll be happier than 50 pigs in shit. And if Toho looks like they might be coming back into the fray, they're going to be at Comic-Con, I think that's good stuff. Maybe they'll be the one to promote Godzilla vs. Kong, and maybe they'll be the one to drop the trailer. And then maybe they'll announce some Toho movies coming out in the 2000s. More power. More Godzilla is good Godzilla. It doesn't matter whether it's coming from Legendary. It doesn't matter if it's coming from Toho. But the reason I'm very big on 2014 was because, and a lot of people won't admit this. Some people will ignore it. Some people don't agree. I personally feel, based on the release of that movie, it had a huge impact on returning Godzilla to the front, back to the forefront. And I just think, other than liking the movie the way I do, the movie had such an impact in so many different ways that when I think of the movie, I think of it more than just this was a great movie. I think of the impact it had on bringing in new fans, on, continuing the Godzilla franchise, making a movie that was safe. Gareth did a safe approach. He didn't gamble like Mike Doherty did, but, and that's why I appreciate Mike Doherty for what he did, man, because he made a great movie. But Gareth did what he had to do to try and make Godzilla relevant, and that to me was, I disappreciate that. He didn't go crazy. He didn't give everybody what they wanted. He tried to make it a very serious movie. He took a very serious approach. He took a very safe approach. And if nothing else, he at least put him back on the map. And nobody expected it to get to this point. even after his good job. But it did. And I will forever be grateful for that. I will forever look at Godzilla 2014 as the movie that was Godzilla's resurrection, especially here in America. And that this has a bigger impact on me. So there's a lot of tangibles that go into why I like Godzilla 2014 better. It's not because necessarily it's a better movie. It just, to me, has better elements about it and was more impactful in the overall scheme of things. And Godzilla King of the Monsters just continues that. You know, so there you have it. There you have it. That's my reason. Hate me if you want. That's okay. I know there'll be somebody in the future in the comments in the next couple of days when I upload this. You're fucking crazy. Godzilla King of the Monsters is the best Godzilla movie in the world.
Thank you for watching E.T.N. Click here to watch more content. Don't forget to leave a comment. Also, make sure you like and share this video. If you want to know when the next video is up, click the notification bell next to the subscribe button. And most of all, make sure to click that subscribe button for regular content.